For over a decade, we have watched a musical prodigy do the absolute impossible on the global stage. From a little girl singing barefoot jazz to becoming one of the most respected vocal powerhouses of the modern era, her journey has felt like a flawless fairy tale. But behind the grand curtain supporting her massive 2026 global push, the illusion of perfection is beginning to crack. A series of sudden event cancellations, frantic courtroom standoffs, and a widening divide within her own dedicated have sparked the exact same question everywhere. Is the management team behind her golden voice steering her toward a massive professional breakdown? Or is this all simply the heavy price that must be paid for absolute international stardom? The reality on the ground is proving to be far more complicated and shocking than what appears on your social media feeds. To understand how this immense pressure cooker reached a boiling point, we have to look back at the sheer scale of the ambition she attempted to conquer recently. In an incredibly short window spanning from late last year into April of 2026, she completely bombarded the global music market by releasing 3 full-length studio albums back-to-back. This ambitious trilogy project, starting with Secret of the Soul, followed by Secret of the Star, and culminating in Secret of Love, was a staggering display of creative output that carried an immense financial risk. This aggressive release strategy was intentionally designed to solidify her position as an undeniable generational force, creating unstoppable momentum ahead of a highly anticipated multi-million-dollar live concert tour across the United States. Unfortunately, the moment the first curtain rose, the brutal collision between artistic idealism and the harsh realities of the entertainment industry hit her team without mercy. The first major breaking point that triggered a wave of deep disappointment occurred early this year during her exclusive, high-profile concert residency at the iconic Las Vegas. On one hand, her raw, untouched vocal ability left everyone inside the theater completely mesmerized and shivering in awe. On the other hand, the moment the stage lights dimmed, an immediate wave of anger from her core fans flooded the internet. Loyal followers who had fiercely supported her career since childhood felt deeply betrayed by an incredibly exploitative ticket pricing system. Standard ticket prices suddenly skyrocketed past $900, a steep price point considered entirely unreasonable for the average working-class fan base. The situation worsened as heavily critical reviews emerged online, highlighting surprisingly cheap stage production values, unmaintained technical equipment, and wardrobe choices that felt entirely unworthy of a premium Las Vegas headliner. The public narrative shifted rapidly from pure admiration to heavy suspicion, but a far more destructive storm was already brewing across the Atlantic. Just as music industry insiders began questioning the strategic choices made by her inner circle, a massive international scandal erupted into the public eye. Behind closed doors, her management had quietly agreed to secure her participation in Norway's legendary Grand, the massive televised music competition that serves as the definitive gateway to the song contest. The national broadcasting network had staked its entire reputation and a massive production budget on her presence, treating her as the crown jewel and primary attraction of the entire broadcasting season. However, on the exact day that promotional cameras were scheduled to begin rolling, her entire team suddenly vanished from the production set without a trace. In a shocking, unilateral move that completely paralyzed the television network's operations, she pulled out of the competition entirely. This abrupt exit left top television executives in a state of absolute panic, staring at a ruined broadcast schedule and a physical stage that was only half constructed. The television network's initial confusion quickly turned into intense fury, leading straight to aggressive legal action. Left to shoulder immense financial damages resulting from wasted production costs, abandoned sets, and empty commercial ad slots, the national broadcaster refused to stay quiet. Heavy legal accusations surfaced in court, demanding massive financial compensation from the family-run production company representing the young star for a flagrant breach of contract. Facing these severe threats, an elite team of Hollywood entertainment lawyers representing her family immediately stepped in with a cold, calculated defense. They firmly asserted that no official, binding paperwork had ever been signed by their client, meaning no legal obligation had technically been broken. This bitter standoff quickly turned into a brutal, high-stakes legal battle that has played out under the scrutiny of the international press. What made the entire situation look incredibly suspicious to the public was the chaotic web of contradictory excuses emerging from her own inner circle. While her high-priced legal team publicly maintained that the cancellation was strictly due to deeply private personal matters that could not be compromised, her mother gave an entirely different statement to the press. Her mother publicly claimed that the devastating wildfires spreading across Los Angeles were the primary cause for the complete collapse of their travel logistics to Europe. However, investigative journalists quickly dismantled this narrative, discovering that the official legal withdrawal had been formally submitted a full 24 hours before the fires had even reached critical evacuation levels. This glaring timeline discrepancy fueled wild rumors and media speculation about what was truly happening behind closed doors, all while a deeply unsettling change was becoming obvious on stage. Throughout her entire professional career, her visual and spiritual identity had been fundamentally tied to one deeply sacred ritual. She never wore shoes while performing on stage. This unique trait was a profound tribute to a childhood promise she made after meeting a shoeless young girl living in extreme poverty. Yet, during several high-profile live appearances in the middle of this year, eagle-eyed fans noticed a very unusual adjustment. The signature bare feet were suddenly gone, replaced by standard, high-end designer footwear. To a casual listener, this minor aesthetic change might seem entirely irrelevant. However, to her core community of lifelong supporters, it ignited a fierce and frantic debate. Many began openly questioning whether major record label executives have officially begun interfering with her artistic choices, slowly erasing the authentic, untouched identity that made her so deeply loved in the first place. This toxic combination of industry pressure, public legal battles, and heavy commercial demands has forced experts to speculate about the long-term survival of the diva's career. Many analysts believe that a management structure handled entirely by immediate family members, while initially meant to protect her from the dark exploitation of the music industry, is now turning into a restrictive barrier. The bitter conflict with the European Broadcasting Network proved that a lack of experienced, international corporate coordination can cause catastrophic damage to a global reputation that took a decade to build. International concert promoters are reportedly growing far more hesitant to sign new tour agreements, living in fear that another sudden, unprompted cancellation could happen to their own multi-million-dollar investments. Carrying this heavy psychological weight at such a young age is an immense burden, especially when every single movement and wardrobe change is being overanalyzed by millions of critical eyes across the world. Furthermore, a distinct sonic shift evident in her latest trilogy has deeply polarized music critics. Several prominent reviews suggest that her latest albums were pushed too hard toward the mainstream American pop formula, stripping away the timeless soul magic that defined her early artistry. The desperate ambition to conquer global radio charts apparently forced her production team to employ mainstream Hollywood producers who rely on generic formulas. As a result, several of her songs sound dangerously similar to everything else playing on commercial radio, blurring her unique identity as a timeless, classic soul singer. This artistic gamble carries immense risk. If she alienates her deeply loyal, core in pursuit of a fickle mainstream pop audience that changes trends weekly, the very foundation of her career could collapse. Despite these dark clouds, it is impossible to deny that she still holds the single most valuable asset in the entire entertainment industry, a genuinely rare, once-in-a-century vocal gift and an effortless, natural stage charisma. In the absolute dead center of management chaos and looming courtroom battles, the pure quality of her voice shows absolutely zero signs of decline. Every single time she steps up to a microphone, she possesses the rare ability to completely silence her doubters and leave thousands of audience members frozen in awe. This undeniable power is precisely why so many industry veterans remain optimistic that she can survive this turbulent transition, provided she finds the courage to restructure her internal management and return her primary focus to pure, honest artistry rather than chasing exhausting sales targets and suffocating corporate contracts. Now, as we move through July of 2026, the legendary singer stands at a critical crossroads that will completely dictate the future of her global career. The choices she and her team make over the next few months will determine whether she will be remembered as a triumphant icon who successfully conquered the cutthroat music industry, or yet another cautionary tale of a generational talent mismanaged into obscurity. Her global community of fans can only watch and wait with bated breath, holding on to hope that the right decisions will be made to save this beautiful, historic gift from being entirely crushed by the machinery of commercial greed. At her core, Jordan possesses a vocal blessing that humanity only witnesses once every 100 years. But as serious legal threats continue to loom large in European courts, and the crushing weight of corporate expectation mounts in America, it is glaringly obvious that the era of the innocent child prodigy is officially dead. The massive machinery of the modern music business has taken full control of the wheel, and her inner circle is learning the hardest way possible just how unforgiving the real entertainment industry can be. Whether this chaotic chapter is merely a temporary speed bump on her journey, or the beginning of a total structural collapse of her career, remains a mystery yet to unfold. But one thing is absolutely certain. The little girl we discovered years ago is being forced to grow up much faster than anyone ever anticipated.